Welcome all of you the video series of structural design 1. So starting with unit number 2nd of B parts, design of lacing and batten system. So dealing with design of lacing and batten systems, first of all we are going to study the built up sections. So this situation for built up section may arise. So built up section preferred instead of roll steel sections for columns in industrial building because span and height of building are large, so that the load on the column are enough large such that roll section are unable to sustain. Then coming to next point, that is the radius of gyration about two principal axes are same, means about z axis and about y axis. So we are going to keep similar to each other. Lacing in built up column sustain the lateral buckling. So dealing with the first type of system known as a lacing system. So under the lacing system, so single lace system is there and double lace system. So difference between the single and double lacing system, so whatever the flat plate or flat lacing plate, or sometimes maybe it called as a round bar. So if you visit to railway station, so such kind of columns may have seen. So these flat bars may be replaced by the round bar of 10 mm or 12 mm diameter of bar. Now, so whatever the given figure which shows the Indian standard flat bar, approximately a 12 mm thickness is shown in the figure. So here these lacings are providing in at angle of through the center of gravity up to the 45 angle of inclination, that is theta, and this is angle of inclination given below the centroidal axis, and above will be the same angle of inclination, and there is a distance center to center distance between the two lacings will be the 90 degree. So similar way we are going to provide the lacing flat system for single lace system, as well as in case of double lace system, so whatever the lacing flat bars are providing in two directions, so called as a double lacing system. Then whatever the two flat bars are joined by one above the other, or it can be connected by the single bolted connections, or sometimes on the site or on the field. So these lacing flat bars may be connected by the individual. So there for these connections two number of bolts are required. So forces in lacing system and whatever the connections we are going to make, we can see or visible through the second diagram. So force which is acting axial through this lacing bar, so we can call as a P1 or P2 with respect to angle of inclination at an angle of theta is equal to 45 degree, and whatever the force which is acting laterally, so that force is called as a Vt by N, that is tangential shear. Then so we can go through this intermediate figure. So here the lateral force is acting Vt by N, and the vertical force Vt by N cot theta with an angle of inclination theta. Therefore the force on the bolt from the lacing flat bars we can find out with the help of this figure. Then so what are the different design steps for design of lace column? So first of all, dealing with lace system, we are going to design the column. So design of column which may consist of, first we are going to assume the FCD value. So FCD is nothing but the design compressive stress. So we can assume in the range of 125 to 185 MPa or Newton per mm square. So we can assume 150, 160, 165. Then second step, to calculate the area required for this design of column. So we can take the ratio of whatever the load divided by design of compressive stress. So it can be denoted by P by FCD. So a suitable cross section should be selected depending upon the requirement, and we can also assume the F5 value is equal to 250 MPa. Then third step, to determine the effective length. So we can determine by using the KL, is determined on the basis of end support conditions. So end support condition may be roller support, hinge support or fixed support. Then fourth point, effective slenderness ratio. So it can be denoted by KL by R bracket suffix E, where we can denoted by lambda E also, of less column should be taken as 1.05 times of KL by R less column. So here we are going to increase the 5% of safety. So KL by R, so lambda effective is equal to 1.05 times of lambda less column. Then fifth step is, for estimated slenderness ratio for the FCD value is computed or find out from the table number 9 of A, 9 of B, 9 of C and 9 of D from the page number 40 to 43 of IS 800 2007. You can refer the 9 table A, B, C, D. Likewise, then sixth number step, to determine the design compressive strength, PD is equal to effective cross sectional area into design compressive stress, that is FCD. Then seventh number point, the section are so placed in such a way that the radius of section about the axis perpendicular to the plane of lacing is not less than radius of gyration of axis in the plane of lacing. It means that, so radius of gyration about y axis is not less than, means is less than equal to radius of gyration about z axis, or we can call it as also about x axis. Then second point, we are going to design under the heading of design of lacing bar or lacing system is design of lacing bar. First is angle of inclination, that is indicated by the angle of inclination indicated by the theta in terms of degree of lacing bar with longitudinal axis, it may be a z axis or y axis, should be kept between 40 degree to 70 degree, means whatever the angle of inclination we are going to keep in the range of 40 to 70 degree. As initial trial, angle assume 45 degree. Then spacing of the lacing bar A1 and R by y, radius of gyration about y axis, is calculated. Then second point, under the design of lacing bar, maximum spacing, the ratio of A1 divided by R1 less than 15, and the second criteria we are going to determine 0.7 times of slenderness ratio, that is lambda. So A1 will be the length of component in lacing bar system. Third point, the shear should be resisted by the lacing bar denoted by the V suffix T equal to or 2.5% of the axial load, and the shear denoted by the V suffix T is divided by equally in parallel planes. So whole equation we can taken as Vt by N. Then fourth design step, compressive force in lacing bar denoted by the C is equal to Vt by N cosec theta, where theta is the angle of inclination, and this equation is applicable to single lacing system. When we are going to use the double lacing system, so equation may differ like that, Vt by divided by twice n cosec theta. Then fifth step, section of lacing flat initially assume and then check for the safety. So under the check for safety we are going to see the diameter of the bolt, or we can sometimes rarely use the rivet connection also, where D is the diameter of the bolt. Then we are going to check width, that is B shall not greater than 3 times of diameter of the bolt. Third criteria, thickness, that is T. Then T shall not less than 1 divided by 40 times of effective length, and this condition is applicable to single lacing system. Then second is T shall not less than 1 by 60 times of effective length, and this is applicable to double lacing system. Then next step, we are going to find out the radius of gyration minimum about, it may be z axis or y axis of lacing flat. So R minimum is equal to T divided by under root of 12. Seventh step, KL by R lacing bar is less than 145 value, where KL is distance between inner end for single lacing system, and which is also equal to 0.7 times of L for double lacing system. We can also write down 0.7 times of inner length of plinth. Then 8 number step, we are going to find out the FCD. We can determine by using the above values. Then ninth step is determine tensile strength of lacing plate using welding of cross section and rupture at the net section. Second last step, design for connection. It may be a bolted connection or welded connections. So under that we can find out the TD and TDG value like that. And last step is detailing, which may consist of the overall cross section and typical figure or diagram related to lacing system. Then coming to B part of this system is known as a batten system. So if we refer this figure first, before that if we refer this figure, so here two I section which is placed like that, and here, so these are known as a battens we can provide at the end as well as top and intermediate. So here clear cut mention in the first figure, so this is called as a intermediate batten, and this is called as a end batten. If here we are going to remember, so usually or commonly we are going to adopt the 3 number of bolts in one column. So always remember, if number of bolts, if we are going to find out the 2 bolts or 1 bolts, so instead of that 1 or 2 bolts we are going to adopt commonly 3 number of bolts in case of batten system for end, intermediate as well as top bottoms. Then center of end batten system to the center of intermediate connection, so whatever denoted by the C, so we are going to find out by using the some formulas, and here we are going to keep the one column, either it is I section or we can call it as a channel section which is placed back to back or toe to toe, or we can also call it as a face to face here. So what are the spacing which is denoted by the S letter between two channel section placed back to back or either face to face. Here the depth of end battens which is denoted by the small d, and the outer to outermost distance between bolt connections, so we can designate it by the d dash. Here, go through the batten systems as well as what are the forces are acting over the batten system. So, shear component Vt divided by twice n acting longitudinal or horizontally over this batten system near as well as the movement may takes place. So accordingly, the formulas we are going to derive or we are going to consider during our designing of batten system. Then this is a typical diagram which is shown here in the second figure. So whatever this channel section, either it is symmetrical, commonly we are going to adopt the channel section symmetrical, and here it is placed face to face, or we can call it as a toe to toe. So design of batten column system. So first of all, a part we are going to design as a design of column. So what are the steps of design of column for lesson system is similar to design of batten column system. Means most of the steps are similar to each other, only difference is that, so whatever the multiplication factor related to effective slenderness ratio may change. So first step is assume FCD value in the range of 125 to 85. Again, calculate the area required by using P by divided by FCD. Then find out KL value, that is effective length depending upon the end and support conditions, and effective slenderness ratio KL by R effective is equal to 1.1. Here 10% strength may increase by using this batten system. So commonly this batten column system worldwide use instead of this lesson column system. Then next step is again estimate the slenderness ratio, that is FCD value, on the basis of we are going to see the buckling class 9A, 9 table A, B, C, D of page number 40 to 43, IS 800 2007. Next, find out the design compressive strength by using effective cross sectional area into design compressive stress. Then again, this clause number is very important. The section are so placed like that the radius of gyration about the axis perpendicular to the plane of lacing is not less than the radius of gyration about axis in the plane of lacing. Means here radius of gyration about y axis greater than equal to radius of gyration about z or x axis. Means at least we are going to keep the minimum. Here under the design of batten system, first to find out the maximum spacing between the batten, and that is denoted by the C letter, that is minimum slenderness ratio of the component, that is C divided by R minimum about y axis shall not exceed 50 or 0.7 times of effective slenderness ratio, that is KL by RYY. Then second point is selection of proper dimensions for batten plate. So under that, first is depth. So sub point, find out the first of all effective depth of end batten, that is D dash is equal to S dash plus twice of CYY distance. We can take these values from the properties of channel section. Then second point is overall depth of end batten. We can determine by using small d is equal to D dash plus twice of H distance. Third point is effective depth of intermediate batten. So that is D1 dash is equal to 3/4 of D dash. Last point under the depth for dimensions we are going to select for batten system. Overall depth of intermediate batten. So D1 is equal to D1 dash plus twice of H distance. Then under the selection of dimension, so second criteria is thickness. T is equal to 1 by 50 times of S dash plus twice G, where G is a gauge distance. Third design step, design of end batten. So here we are going to consider the first tangential shear, where V is denoted by the shear and T stands for transverse shear. Vt is equal to 2.5 times of axial load. Longitudinal shear denoted by the Vb is equal to Vt into C by N into S, where S is the spacing. And next point, that is moment, we can designated by the M is equal to Vt into C by N. Then fourth point here in this design, very important, that is we are going to check the shear stress, bending stress in the section of batten. So first check we are going to take, that is shear stress Vb by A1 to P Fy divided by under root of 3 into gamma m0, where A1 is the area of batten. Area of batten means thickness into depth, and gamma m0 will be the 1.10. Then bending stress in the section of batten, so denoted by the sigma BC, where M by Z is equal to M divided by section modulus Z is nothing but the 1 by 6 times of thickness into depth square. So we can revise this or modify this equation in the last step. Design of end connections and do the detailing for this end as well as intermediate batten system. Then coming to last point, that is design specification as per the IS 800-2007 for axially loaded columns for specially rolled steel section according to clause number 7.1 IS 800-2007. So built up section and common hot roll sections, mostly hot roll steel members or elements used for carrying the axial compression usually may fails in the flexural buckling. So in order to that, we are going to see the as buckling strength of column is affected by the residual stresses and initial bow and the accidental eccentricities of load. IS 800-2007 is defined by the buckling classes A, B, C and D depending upon the imperfection factor alpha in table number 7 of page number 35. So which is based on the buckling class of cross section, which is given in the table number 10 of page number 44 IS 800-2007. So this is alpha imperfection factor is given table number 7 of page number 35. If the buckling class A, then value of alpha is 0.21. If the buckling class is B, the value of alpha is 0.35. If class is C, value is alpha equal to 0.49. And lastly, if the buckling class is T, then we are going to take the value of alpha is equal to 0.76. Then this table number 10, page number 44, IS 800-2000 is very important. If you refer this table, see here roll I section is there, weighted I section is also there, and lastly is what? Channel, angle, T section and solid sections are there, and lastly built up members or elements are given. So according to this table, so there are some limitations or certain criteria are there to check the ratio of depth of I section to the width of flange of I section. So ratio of H by BF, if the ratio is gives more than 1.2, as well as see the thickness of flange is less than 40 mm, then buckling about the both axes, that is z axis and y axis. So accordingly we are going to choose or select the buckling class, either it is B or A. Here depending upon this roll steel I section, always we are going to consider the radius of gyration minimum, and it may takes place about y axis sometimes, so we are going to always see the buckling class B. So accordingly second limitation or criteria is there, if h by bf ratio is less than equal to 1.2 and thickness of flange is less than equal to 100 mm. So accordingly Z and Y class is there and the buckling class is B and C. If the thickness of flange exceeds the more than 100 mm, then axis is Z and Y axis and the class may change, that is D and D class. Simultaneously, if the question may ask on the welded I section, so there is a one criteria is there, if the thickness of flange less than 40 mm, it means that at least we are going to provide the 40 mm thickness of flange. If it is less than 40 mm, then buckling may taking place about Z and Y axis. So here B and C class are there. If the thickness of flange may exceed 40 mm, the axis is Z and Y axis and the class is C and D. Here most and important things we are going to remember, if for our design or numerical based on the channel section, angle section, either it is single, double angle section, T section or solid section, so whatever the buckling may taking place about any axis, either it may be Z axis or Y axis, so always we are going to take the buckling class is only C. So forget about the A, B and D class, only we are going to choose the C class, and same thing is applicable to built up members. The design procedure for this, design compressive strength, first of all you are going to find out, that is PD of the member, which is given by the P less than PD, where design compressive strength is already we have find it out in some numericals, that is effective cross sectional area into FCD. We all aware about the all these things, so we are going to calculate the effective cross sectional area as well as FCD value, that is design compressive stress. Then second point is design compressive stress FCD of axially loaded compression member is given by the FCD is equal to CHI, so denoted by this letter. So it is a into ratio of Fy divided by gamma m0 less than equal to Fy divided by gamma m0, and we can write down this equation or modify in terms of which is equal to Fy divided by gamma m0 whole divided by 5 plus square bracket consists of phi square minus lambda square bracket complete raised to 0.5, or we can take this denominator under the under root of that, means raised to 0.5 may reduce. So chi may be write down the 1 divided by 5 plus phi square minus lambda square bracket raised to 0.5, and this chi is nothing but the stress reduction factor, where lambda is a non-dimensional effective slenderness ratio, so we can write down which is equal to under root of Fy divided by FCC, where FCC is Euler's buckling stress, so we can take the ratio of pi square E divided by KL by R bracket square, where KL by R is effective slenderness ratio and the alpha we are going to take from the IS code 800/2007 as a imperfection factor depending upon the class A, B, C and D. And these are the design compressive stress FCD values table of page number 40 IS 800/2007. So we can take as a table of 9A. So these are the first column which may consist of KL by R, effective slenderness ratio. If you go see the from top to bottom it may increases from 10 to 250. And if you go through the second parameter, that is yield stress Fy, so values are given ranging from 200 to 540. So commonly we are taking the value is Fy is equal to 250. If you go through, so value may decreases. Here effective slenderness ratio goes on increasing and the Fy may decreases. So there is a inversely proportional between the effective slenderness ratio and the Fy. So these are the table 9a is there, we can refer for our calculation. Again second is 9b, third one is 9c and 9d. So of page number 40 to 43 of IS 800 2007. Thank you.